All right, so last time we're talking about the miracle of the third day of Tammuz. What was the third? There were two miracles that happened on the third day of Tammuz, and this is relevant to our Torah portion, which there was also a miracle in our Torah portion, and that was with the staff of Aaron. And all these three miracles had the same, it's a surprising feature to them, namely that they were half. Oh no. Half miracle, half nature. What's going on? Let's see this. Oh. They were half miracle, half nature. The miracle, first of all, one of the miracles was on the third day of Tammuz, 3,000 whatever it is years ago. The sun stood still for Joshua, enabling him to finish the battle that he started against the people of, anyway, the people that he was warring against. Joshua was taking over the land of Israel. In order to finish the battle, so God made a miracle and the sun stood still so that his enemies couldn't run away in the cover of night. Before that, also afterwards, what about 100 years ago, there was the miracle of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe was put into communist prison. The communists had killed tens of millions of people. For them to kill a person is nothing. The previous Rebbe was like public enemy number one over there because he was spreading out Judaism and refused encouraging people not to listen to the atheistic orders of the communist government. And he was in prison, sentenced to death, and miraculously, not only was he not killed, but he was released from prison and sent to exile. That happened on the third day of Tammuz also. Sent to exile. And exile, he was supposed to be there for 3 years. He was just there for like 10 days. And then he got out. And that also wasn't the end of the miracle. That afterwards he had problems be in Russia. And then afterwards he was evicted from Russia, but his Hasidim were still in Russia for another 60 years until they got out. A gradual miracle. And the same thing was in our Torah portion, that Aaron staff, to prove that he was the Kohen, that his staff grew almonds. But it didn't just grow almonds. It also grew flowers and buds, which are not the point at all. It just should have grown almonds to show that he was the rightful Kohen, high priest. Almonds grow quickly, and the high priest's thing is to bring blessings quickly in the world. Almonds says no. There was almonds, and there was flowers, and there was buds. All the different stages. So in other words, they wanted to show that it was a natural process that happened, but it happened miraculously. So it was like half miracle, half nature. Okay, so why did God do that? So if the answer is, we can ask sort of like another question. Why does God create so many details in the world? Why does God create the world in a way that there's time? Things gradually unfold. It says one of the reasons is so that we'll appreciate God in a billion different ways. Because God is not just limited to being God. But God sits up in the heavens like the Wizard of Oz or something, and he sits up there, created the world a long time ago, and once in a while he looks down, he's got all these little levers and angels and things like that. And they take, no, that's not so. God is intimately involved in every detail, including the upper worlds, but especially this world. And that's why God created those. So it's the same thing over here. God wants us to appreciate nature. Every detail of nature we should be appreciated by us. And therefore, God made so many details. And even he made to the point where he even made miracles that would unfold naturally, gradually, so that we would bring godliness into our day-to-day life. So that God will become, what do you call it, user-friendly. Just one second, I just want to see where we got up to last time. So God will be user-friendly. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Please excuse the slight confusion that there is over here. Okay, here we are. I think we got up to here. Okay. So therefore, that's the same thing with us. That's the same thing with us. How do we serve God? We have to have two aspects. First of all, that God is totally above any creation. We have to be totally surrendered to God, totally surrendered. Our whole being is just this miraculous creation from nothing. So we're really nothing. And on the other hand, we have to deal with every little detail of the world. We have to have bittul surrender to God, harmony with God's oneness, but also how it's drawn down into all the details of the world. When there are these two things of the high without any end and below, but there's missing that we're surrendered to God. And then in the end, there's going to be missing also our godly involvement in the world. When we have a business, maybe we're going to cheat a little bit. Maybe we're going to lie a little bit. Maybe, right? Maybe, could be. True, there's people that don't believe in God and they're also honest. Yes, it's true. But if everybody does believe in the essence of God, eventually it's going to be very, very difficult. It'll be those people who are honest without believing in God, they're very rare. If everyone in the world believes in God, it's going to be the opposite. People that cheat is going to be very rare. You can believe in God and still cheat. It's possible, right? It's possible. People have free will all the time, but it's going to be less and less probable. And says, therefore, you have to have both total surrender to the Creator, meaning I am nothing. I'm just a big miracle. I don't know how I exist from one minute to the other. And on the other hand, I have a job to do in the world. I have to work in the world. I have to deal with the details. I have to be honest. I have to be conscientious. Until the separation between godliness and one brings to a situation of rush. One second, where did we get to this from? 1 minute. I think maybe we skipped a little bit more. 1 second, 1 minute. Oh, we did. I skipped. Oh, I did. I went too far. Okay. I don't take back what I said, but here we go. Maybe we can attach this to this month of Tammuz. The month of Tammuz is the fourth month, fourth of the summer months, so to speak. It's the fourth month from the giving of the Torah. I'm sorry, the fourth month from going out of Egypt. The fourth month of going. The third month from going out of Egypt, that's when we received the Torah. The month after that, it's called the fourth month, right? The Jewish calendar starts off from Nisan. That's the month the Jews got out of Egypt. That's the first month. And the second month is Iyar. The third month is Sivan, when we receive the Torah. And this is the fourth month. Then it comes after with the power of the third months. What's the third month? The third month, the number 3 in Judaism usually represents balance. Balance. There's right side, left side, and middle. The same thing, but there's other things that are represented. For instance, the third level, Gimel, that's 3, and Daled is 4. In Judaism, there's really no number system. The numbers are the letters. The letters, they're the numbers. They also use numbers, but if you look in the Talmud or whatever, the pages, there's no page numbers. Later on, they put the page numbers, but the page numbers are letters. So Aleph is 1, Base is 2, Gimel is 3, and Daled is 4. This is the fourth month 4. Gimel, Daled, the word Gimel means to give, and Daled means to be poor. That's the first letters of Gomel, Gamul, Dalin, to give to the poor. Namely what? The world is poor, and the Jewish people are supposed to be here to bring blessing into the world, to bring hashpah, blessing, of the month of the third month. That's the month we receive the Torah. That comes into the fourth month, which is the poor month, the month which is when the previous Rebbe was still in prison. That's the fourth month, the month of Tammuz. like that's down, that's poor. Also, this was the month we're going to have a fast day on the 17th day of the month. That was when the temple was began to destroy. That was when Joshua was fighting with the enemy. That it was in the third month, and all of a sudden the fourth month of Tammuz. But all of a sudden on the third day of that month, there came big miracles. Here we go. So it says, "Ba'ofen shezeh dalim." The fourth month is a month which is poor, dalit, and it transforms the dalit, the poor month, which that was the month when Joshua was just fighting against seemingly an unbeatable enemy, and the previous Rebbe, 3,000 years later, was also in the hands of a seemingly unconquerable enemy, the communists. And that was the fourth month, terrible month. The month transformed to be a month of redemption. Joshua stopped the sun, God stopped the sun, and Joshua won the battle. And the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he won his battle against communism. And because of that, the Rebbe said that was the beginning of the fall of communism. 60 years later, the Iron Curtain fell. And we can say that this is also hinted at in the form of the shape of the letter Daled. The shape of the letter Daled, even though that the letter Daled is similar to the letter Resh, both of them look the same, right? And let me get my pointer over here. Let me get my pointer. Here. There's a point. See, even the letter Daled is very similar to the letter Resh. Right? Both of them have two sides. Right? The only difference is that the Resh is missing this little point in the back. See? This little point over here. There's a point. I hope this comes through you can see the pointer. Okay. both of them have two sides. Both of them also, the meaning of the word Daled in Hebrew and the word Resh mean poverty. A Resh is a poor person, and a Dalut means poverty. A Dal is a poor person. Dalit, from the language of Dalut, poverty. And it's the first letters of Dalim. What's it? Gomel Dalim. Poor, poverty. Dalit is poor. Resh also means the same thing. Poor. There's a sentence in, what is it, in Proverbs, a Resh ain't called. What did I do? What happened? Everything got red, huh? All right. What happened there, huh? All right, let's see if we can bring this back, bring it back. Here we go. 1 minute, stop, screen share, pause, resume. How did that happen? 1 second. By you, it sees everything is red. Why did it get red? What happened? 1 minute. Red, yeah. Okay. Stop the share. Let's stop the share. Let's do it again. Here we go. Well, I'm not going to do that again. Okay, both of the letter.
What's going on tonight? What's going on tonight? Too many problems tonight.
Nah, I agree. The world is full with even more problems. I mean, don't go outside. Oh, you're afraid of problems? Stay at home. That's the biggest problem of all. But that's why we're here. What are you going to do? How do you say? The coward saves money on shoes. He never goes anywhere, so he saves money. Okay. So that's why we're in the world. So it says there's two types of poverty. There's the letter Daled, represents one type of poverty, and Resh represents a worse type of a poverty. It says Shteim, both of them are connected to these two lines. Resh and Daled both have two lines to them, right? Two lines. Both of them have these two lines. One is on the top, and it goes wide, and the other one, right? And the other one is long, rochev, from above to below. But there's a big difference between them. The letter Daled, it's got this little point in the back of it, and the Resh doesn't. What does that signify? Now you have to remember the world was created by these letters. So these letters are not part of the world. I mean, of course they are part of the world. They're part of the letter, but they represent powers which create the world. So it's bigger than the world. So these letters represent certain forces which are active in the world. One of them is poverty, and the other one is worse type of poverty. Let's see what this is. One of these Indians, let me just once again, it's getting warm here, and I want to turn on the air conditioner, which is high. Give me 1 second, please. One moment. Da malamayla milach. You have to know what's above you, where it goes. Yeah. Okay. So what's the difference between Dalid and Hey? What's the difference between Dalid and Resh? A Dalid is the same shape. It has two lines, but the Dalid has a little point that extends over. See, over here on the end. And the Resh doesn't have it. Resh doesn't have it. What does that represent in the spiritual worlds? This little point, this shows on surrender, harmony, being plugged in. You're plugged into something higher than you. This refers to the point of Judaism, which is complete by every single Jew. Even when a Jew is found in a way of backside, right? Backside. God is a totally extra thing in his life. It's an unnecessary thing. It's an appendix. It's an appendix in his life. It's just hanging off his personality somewhere. This Jew has absolutely no use for it. It just gets in his way. It has nothing to do with it. That's what he thinks. But the fact of the matter is this little point over here, this is really his connection to God, his Jewish identity, and what makes it impossible for him to totally deny his Judaism. Like the rabbis say, even though he's a sinner, but he still is a Jew. Even since the Nakuda Yadut, since that this point of Judaism is above all of the worlds, and it's above all the levels. So the letter Daled represents poverty, but it's poverty that it's got hope. This little point of Judaism, the little point which attaches a Jew with the oneness of God. Oneness of God, which, by the way, I'm going to tell you a story about this. I just hope I don't forget it. About there's always hope. I'll remind me if I forget. This little point, which is in the back of the letter Daled, which is present by every Jew, even though it's on the back side, this indicates that the poverty and the, how do you say, the lacking of the letter Daled is a different type of a poverty. It's a poverty which we realize that we really have nothing. If I'm a multi-billionaire and none of it is really mine. It's all just gifts from God. Everything is just a gift from God. So God wants me to use it properly, right? Maybe it could be that in order to impress, the King Faisal or something, that he should do the 7 Noahide commandments, is I have to buy a brand new gold-plated, platinum-plated Bugatti car, which costs like $45 million, right? And if that's what I have to do, then I'll do it. But I'm not doing it for myself. I'm not doing it I'm doing it only from bittul, from giving to God. That's what God wants. That's what I'll do. Shemakasher oto, that connects him with the highest possible levels there can possibly be. Things that on my own, with my own talents, I could never do. That's the level of Dalit. The level of Dalit. That also comes from Dilitani. The word from Dilitani means Ramimcha Hashem ki Dilitani. Dilitani is from the word dal, which means poor, but the word Dilitani means to elevate, to lift up. To lift up. I think that's the reason why a bucket in Hebrew is called a dli. Dli. Because the job of a bucket is to lift things up from below to above. I think so. Lift up. So the word dalut means